I accidentally learned something on my date night with my wife the other night that I want to share with you. This is Tad Fulford with Rise Up in Real Estate, and today I want to share with you a real life example of something that I learned on the fly that made an impact on me, that I hope it will make an impact on you too. So my wife and I were going to dinner. We had an opportunity to get out without the kids, and we were walking down the sidewalk on the way to where we were going to eat. And behind us, there was a family of three. It looked like a mom and two daughters. The girls were probably 9 and 7. They were behind us on the sidewalk, and they were walking down, and I could overhear, not by accident, because they were talking off the charts with volume, their excitement. Like you would think they just won the lottery. The girls were so excited, like they were talking about whatever they were talking about, but their tone was way up here. Now remember, my back was to them, so I couldn't see their faces. And when I did turn around to take a look and see what they were talking about or who it was or what was happening, their faces were lit up. Their body language was excited. They were jumping around with joy. Now, what were they talking about? Well, that's the interesting part. I have no idea. They were speaking in a different language that I could not understand. Now, the interesting thing about this is I caught their intention, but I didn't understand the meaning of what they were talking about. But I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, because of their face, their excitement, and the tone of their voice, that they were really, really excited about something. And it made me start to think, how are you with your tone? Does your tone match your message? Does your body language or your facial expressions match your message? If I were to call you and you were to tell me what you're selling, could I hear it in your voice that you're excited to do what you do? If I saw you on the street and I said, hey, tell me, what is your mission on this planet? Would I be able to tell in your face and your body language and your voice that you're excited about what you're here for? Or does your tone and your face and your body language not reflect your message? Interesting thing, later on that night, as we were eating dinner at a table a few tables over from us that was more of a communal table, there was clearly a husband and wife, or maybe partners, sitting together across the table with their 9 or 10-year-old boy, and they were also talking about something. Now, I could hear their voices, but I couldn't quite make out what they were saying. You know why? Because again, they were speaking in another language. Now, I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, so this is a common occurrence for me to hear 2 conversations in another language, but that night I did for some reason. So I'm thinking, what is the lesson I need to learn here? And the lesson is, as I listened to that woman and that man talk, the woman was facing my direction and she was talking to her partner or her husband, and I could tell by her body language and her voice and her inflection and her facial expressions that she was in love with the man that she was talking to. It was clear that it wasn't her brother. It was clear that it wasn't somebody that she just knew from work. It was clearly her partner. Why? Because I could tell by the way her eyes looked and the way her hands embraced his hands and the way she stroked his face and the way she leaned forward when she talked. And even the inflection of her voice, I picked up that she was in love and excited to tell this person about her day. And again, for the second time in less than 30 minutes, I was reminded, how does my tone and my body language and my facial expressions match my message? Do they or don't they? So today I want you to analyze when you're on the phone, when you're having conversations, when you're talking to your kids, talking to your coaches, your spouses, your team members, whoever it might be, on the phone, in person, in a group, do you do a good job? Now, is this something that we need to practice? Well, that seems a little inauthentic, doesn't it? It seems a little bit practiced and fake. If we have to practice our facial expression, our body language, and even the tone of our voice, well, it does seem inauthentic, but it also seems that in a profession like ours, if we take it seriously, then we won't allow being tired and the repetitive business of what we do to take ruler over what our intentions are. So if you're serious about what you do, you need to practice these things. You need to be able to get on the phone and they immediately tell that you're excited about what you do. When they see you across the room, they should know that you're a positive influence in the room that you're standing in. I want to challenge you today, if you haven't done this before, take a good inventory of your actions. See if your tone and your body language and your facial expression match up with the message you're trying to deliver. If you want a really hard challenge, if you want to go to a doctorate level on this, ask someone really close to you how you're doing. Even ask just 4 or 5 of your closest friends. Dare you ask your spouse or your children? Do that. Say, hey, does my body language, my voice, like my tone and my facial expressions match the message? Do you hear what I'm saying to you about this? And just sit back and listen, because you're probably going to get a lesson on what it means to match those things with the message you're trying to communicate. This is Tad Fulford with Rise Up in Real Estate, and I hope today's message helps you communicate better and rise up.